All right, so today we're going to start a new lesson 1.4. This is about subtracting integers. This is the last new assignment that you're going to need to know for our quiz coming up on Monday. I want you to write down this slide right here on your notes, so pull out your red pen. This is the same thing that we've been writing down the past couple of days, which means it's super important and you're going to need to know this for your quiz. So go ahead and pull out that red pen and start filling in your notes at the top of 1.4. All right, so this is that same idea that we've been singing about. Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract and take. Everybody say that with me. Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract and take. Very good job. Then the other thing, there's a special saying we've been saying a lot. I'm not going to have you write it down, but let's see if you remember it. Say it with me. Every number has a sign, and that sign is directly in front of that number. Awesome. If you know that, you are going to do great on the quiz. I want you to take your red pen, put it up at the top of your desk, and now we're going to do quite a few problems that are going to look just like your quiz coming up on Monday. So here we have the first one. It says to find the difference. 1 minus 4. Same sign or different sign, class? Different sign, because remember, every number has a sign and that sign's directly in front of that number. That is the negative sign because it's in front of, although you might think it looks like a minus sign is a negative sign because you're taking it away, okay? So we've got different sign. We've got to subtract and take. Class, what's 4 minus 1? Okay, 3. Take the sign of the larger number. And what is it? It's a negative. So your correct answer is -3. Who would like to do problem B for me? Caleb. Same sign or different sign?
Same.
Same sign. Add the numbers, keep the sign. And what do you get?
You get 7.
Okay, 7 and keep the sign. Is it positive or -7? That is correct. All right, box it in. That's okay. Next one, who'd like to do problem C? Kyla. Good job. We do have that double negative right there. So she said we're going to turn it into a monster positive. To the right, let's rewrite that a little bit neater. 6 plus 5. Kyla, what's our answer? 11 is correct. Put that underneath and go ahead and box it in. Problem D. Help me with it, Lexi. Do you see any double negatives?
Yeah, the first two.
Good job. Turn it into?
Monster positive.
Very good. And if I write it to the left, I'm left with 7 minus 3. Answer? 4 is correct. All right, so remember, whatever I'm writing on my screen, you guys want to make sure you're also getting that written into your notes so you have some good study notes, okay? Let's go to the next one. Gerard, 3 minus 12. What do you think the answer is? Very good. He subtracted and he took the sign of the larger number. Nice work. Zion, problem F. What should I do first? Very good. Now we're going to rewrite that to the right. I have -8 plus 13. What's the answer? Okay, 5 is correct. And should that be a positive or a -5? It is a +5. Excellent, because he took the sign of the larger number, which was the 13. Christopher, problem G. Very good. 9 is correct. I want you to bump it off for someone to do the very last one for us. So Christopher, just say bump and then choose who you want it to go to.
Brandon.
All right, Brandon, we've got 9 minus 17. Same sign or different sign?
Same sign.
Okay, so here's the deal. This is a plus and this is a minus. Remember, a minus is a negative sign, so those are actually different signs. Okay, same sign, add and keep, different sign. Subtract. Brandon, what is 17 minus 9? 8. Take the sign of the larger number. -8 is correct. Any questions on that first section? All right, so this is similar to what your problems are going to look like on your quiz on Monday. Now I want to teach you something new. We haven't really talked about distance yet. Let me have Caleb come up here. This is the part that I was saying. He told us that he does track. Caleb, what's the main thing you like to run the best in track?
100.
The 100. When I was in 9th grade, I ran track. I only did it 1 year. It was not my favorite. But Caleb, come on up here. I want you to run. We're going to pretend this is a 100. Run from the front of the class to the back of the class. Ready, set, go. All right, now I want you to freeze right there, okay? Let's just say that he just ran a pretend 100. Now I want you to turn around and run backwards for me. Run back up here, backwards. Good luck, don't hit any desks. All right, guys. Let me ask you a question. Did Caleb just run in a negative direction? Yes or no? No, there is no such thing as running negative. He didn't run a negative 100, okay? He ran backwards, but you cannot run negative. Let's give him a round of applause. I hope your next track meet goes better than that. Thank you, Caleb. All right, so let me tell you this, guys. No matter whether Caleb or any track person is running forwards or backwards, they are running a distance. And there is no such thing as saying, oh, he ran negative 10 miles. Okay? You just run 10 miles. So here's the deal. On this question that I'm about to say, the distance, you can never have a negative distance. Okay? So let's look at the first one, problem A. Find the distance between negative 3 and 5. I want you just to take your pencil and put a little dot on the negative 3. Now let's also put a dot on the 5. Whether I am hopping to the right or the left, I'm going to hop a certain number of numbers. So let's count how many hops it takes me to get to the 5. Ready, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? So the distance between those two numbers is 8 numbers. Now, on some problems we're going to do today, they're going to be really big numbers and we're not going to have a number line. So I want to teach you a shortcut of how to figure that out. You're going to look at these two numbers and pick the bigger number. Which number is bigger, negative 3 or 5? A 5. Everybody write the 5 down. When taking distance, you have to subtract the biggest number and the smallest number. So subtract, what is the smallest number there?
3.
Not 3.
Negative 5.
Negative 3. Okay. Anson, what do I have?
2 negatives.
2 negatives, which makes a
Monster. What is it? Monster number?
a monster positive. Everyone take your red pen and turn that into a monster plus sign. Halen, what's 5 plus 3?
8.
8 is correct. Okay, so now you can see the distance between those two numbers is 8. Let's go on and do one more. Find the distance between 2 and negative 5. Put a dot on the 2. Put a dot on the negative 5. Finding distance is different than adding and subtracting integers. You take the biggest number. Guys, what's the biggest number there? The 2 is the biggest number, and now you have to subtract the smallest number. What's the smallest number? Negative 5. Zariana, what do I do with that double negative? Okay, and what is my answer? What's the distance between those, Zariana?
7.
7 is correct. Now, if we wanted to double check it with a number line, I could count. Even though I'm going backwards, it's still positive 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 7 numbers away. That is the distance, okay? So just remember, you can never have a negative distance. Now we're going to go on to do a modeling real-life problem. Which continent has the greater range of elevation? So let's think highest elevation, that's probably like a mountain, okay? So a mountain in North America. What do you think the lowest elevation could be? Not a number, but what is that? What does it mean if it's a negative elevation?
I mean, it's like below the ground.
It's below the ground, so like a canyon, okay? So let's go ahead and see what the range is for North America. That just means the distance from the highest point of the mountain to the lowest point in the valley. So for North America, I'm just going to put N America. Go ahead and do this underneath. So whatever I'm writing down, you want to also write down in your notes. Let's take the highest elevation, 6,198 meters. And I am going to subtract the lowest elevation. What's the lowest elevation in North America?
Negative 86.
Negative 86. All right, Addison, what should I do now? Let's turn that into a monster positive, okay? Now, this first section is not a calculator section, so just off to the side, maybe on the left over here, line those numbers up so that you can add them together. What's 8 plus 6?
14.
14. 1 plus 9 plus 8. 18. 1 plus 1?
2.
2, and then just bring down the 6. Okay? Now, this is not our final answer, because notice the question has asked us, which continent has the greater range? We've only figured out what North America has. So let's go ahead and always put units attached. 6,284 meters. Do you think I'm finished? No, which continent do I still need to find the range for? Africa. So to this side, let's go ahead and write Africa. What is the highest elevation in Africa, class?
5,895.
Very good. We're going to write that down. 5,895. Remember, when finding the distance or the range, you take the biggest number and subtract the smallest number. Caleb, what's the smallest number there? Negative 155. And Adam, what should I do to that double negative?
Make it a monster positive.
Good job. We're going to go ahead and add those together. If you would, add it together on your own. All right, how many of you would say you got the same as me? 6,050. Okay, very good. Now, that's not my final answer yet, but 6,050 meters is the range for Africa. Let's go back to the question. It says, which continent has the greater range of elevations? Was it North America, guys, or Africa? North America. Here's why. That right there, 6,284, is larger than 6,050. So we're just going to write over here, North America has the greater range. And then we're going to box that in because the correct answer is North America. All right, a lot of times when you have homework, you're going to have problems like this where it says, you be the teacher. So you're going to look and you can see here, your friend finds the difference. Is your friend correct? So you want to decide yes or no if your friend's correct. So your friend here is not working down, they're working left to right. This was their original problem, 5 minus negative 6. And then they moved on to do this, and then they found their answer was this. Raise your hand if you think your friend is correct. Raise your hand if you think your friend is incorrect. Okay, so we've got a lot of people that have discovered your friend did not do this correct. So we're going to write down first, no, your friend is not correct. Now it goes on to say, explain your reasoning. You cannot just say, they are wrong. You've got to explain to me, what did they do that was wrong if it's incorrect? Kyla, what do you think your friend did wrong?
They didn't change it into a plus sign.
They didn't change what to a plus sign?
The two negatives.
Very good. Okay, they did not change the double negative into a positive. All right, let me say it one more time. No, it is not correct because they didn't change the double negative into a positive. Now, what you're going to always do, you're going to write these answers, if this is a homework assignment, onto your piece of paper, but then you also have to submit that same answer into the Big Ideas Math website, okay? So when I look in there, I'm going to be checking to see, does your explanation make sense, okay? Now, not all of us are going to use these same exact words. I'll have to read it and interpret it just to make sure you understand the idea. In this case, they didn't change the double negative into a positive, so that's why it was incorrect. All right, for this next one, it says to evaluate the expression when A equals 5, B equals negative 2, and C equals negative 3. I want you guys to take your pencils, and we're just going to circle this. This helps us to stand out and know, okay, A is a 5, B is a negative 2, C is a negative 3. That just helps you to slow down and really examine what we're plugging in. Let's start with B minus C. Zariana, what should I plug in for B? Negative 2, and then this is a minus sign right here. You're always going to drop down whatever sign is there. So let's drop down the minus. Zariana, what's the C?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Tell us what to do now.
Turn negative into a monster positive.
Very good. When we turn that into a monster positive, now I have negative 2 plus 3. And what's that answer?
Ain't it 5?
Okay, same sign or different sign?
Oh, different.
Same sign, add and keep, different sign. Subtract. 1, take the sign of the larger number. It is positive. Very good, okay? So remember, on your quiz, really slow it down and try to process and think, okay, what was the rule that she taught us so that you get it correctly, okay? Let's go on. Aubrey, problem B. We're going to first drop down this negative sign. And what should I plug in for C?
Negative 3.
Okay, the C is going to be a negative 3. Now what should I do with this next minus sign? I'm going to drop it down, okay, because we're just plugging things in right now. And what is the A going to be? 5. Okay. What should I do now, Aubrey?
Turn the one, the minus. and
Double negative?
Double negative into a monster positive.
Okay, very good. So now we're left with positive 3 minus 5. What's the answer? 2. Should that be a positive or negative 2?
Positive.
Okay, same sign, add and keep, different signs, subtract, and take the sign of the larger number. Which number is larger, the 3 or the 5? The 5. Is the 5 positive or negative?
Positive.
No, remember every number has a sign and that sign is directly in front of that number. So that's a negative sign in front of the 5. So what's my answer going to be? Negative 2. Very good job. Let's go on to the next one. Lexi, what are these lines here on the outside called?
Absolute value.
Absolute value. Very good. So we're going to bring the absolute value signs down, and now we're going to plug in B plus C. What is B, Lexi?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Bring down your plus sign, and what is C?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. All right, so if you remember, class, we don't like signs side by side. Who always wins out of a plus minus?
Negative.
The negative always wins, so I'm actually going to just scribble this out. And what I am left with here is the absolute value of negative 2 minus 3. Lexi, what is negative 2 minus 3?
I thought we would change it to the absolute value.
You do the absolute value at the very, very end.
So wait, what's the question?
What's negative 2 minus 3?
1.
Same sign or different sign?
Different.
Okay, look. Every number has a sign, and that sign is directly in front of that number. This is negative, that is negative. Same sign. Add the numbers, keep the sign,
5.
and keep the sign.
Negative 5.
Negative 5. Now you're going to take the absolute value. So listen, if you tried to box in this answer and say that was it, it would be wrong because there's absolute value signs there. You got to get rid of the absolute value. So Lexi, what's the absolute value of negative 5?
5.
It is 5. Good job, because it's 5 numbers away from 0 on a number line. Excellent. Just the boys. What should I plug in for problem D? What is A? 5 over or divided by, boys, what is B?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. All right, so you're not allowed to leave it like this because that's improper. So we want to turn that into a mixed number. In order to do this, if you remember, you're just going to do 5 divided by negative 2, okay? So we're just going to pretend that this is not a negative right here. For now, 5 divided by 2. How many times does 2 go into 5?
1, 2.
2 times. 2 times 2?
Are the boys, or just the boys can do it?
Everyone can do it. 2 times 2?
4.
Very good. 5 minus 4? 1. Now, what would this be as a fraction? 2 and 1/2. Okay, so this is going to be 2 1/2. But the only thing is, since we had a negative right here, we have to still keep the negative in our final answers. So the final answer is negative 2 1/2. All right, for this last part today, match the subtraction expression with the corresponding addition expression, okay? So let's look at this first one right here. What should I do to that first part? Let's turn it into a monster positive. If this turns into a monster positive, this says 9 plus 5. Guys, do any of these down here say 9 plus 5?
Yes.
Which one? D is correct. So D would be the answer. Let's box it in. And now we're done with D. So you can put a little X on the D because we're not going to use that one again. Now, for this kind of a problem, you don't have to go in order all the time. I want us actually to bump over to number 3. What should I do, Addison, on number 3? Let's turn that into a positive. Very good. And when I rewrite that, I see negative 9 plus 5. Addison, do any of these down here say that? Which one? A is correct, okay? So A is the answer for number 3. I'm going to cross it off because I've now used up A. There's only 2 left. I want you guys to try these 2 on your own. All right, let's see what you came up with. For 2, did you guys think that was B or C? Number 2. All right, she says C. Let's look at C right here. I see a positive and a negative sign. Guys, who always wins out of positive, negative? Negative. So I'm going to actually cross this out right here. And if I do that, what am I left with? Negative 9 minus 5. Is that what that says?
Yes.
That is correct. Excellent job. Okay, so that would be C. Then let's look at this. Positive, negative, side by side. Who always wins, class? The negative. So I'm going to cross this out, and what is left? 9 minus 5. Isn't that exactly what this says right here? Yes, so the answer is B. Was there anyone who got both of those correct? All right, just a couple of people. Very good job. Okay, so tonight we have our homework assignment. We're going to be doing 1.4. I want you guys to actually, if you've got your phones, pull up Big Ideas Math for me right now.